Monday Night Raw ends in controversial fashion. What happened at the end of Monday Night Raw? What does this mean for the WWE Draft? And did I go get high with Rob Van Dam and Roman Reigns by the looks of my fucking face? Find out next. Man, let me tell you something with this Monday Night Raw that we've seen tonight. Not only was it the last Monday Night Raw before the draft, that SmackDown goes live on the USA Network tomorrow night, which I will be reviewing, by the way, goons. I will be reviewing it, and I will be reviewing SmackDown every single Tuesday going forward as long as the show is live. I've had many of you ask me, JD, are you going to review SmackDown? The answer is yes. You guys are getting Monday Night Raw on Monday. You guys are getting SmackDown on Tuesday. And as long as the Cruiserweight Classic is going on the WWE Network, you will be getting reviews of the Cruiserweight Classic as well. And I might incorporate NXT after the tournament wraps up on the WWE Network. Possibly. I will not promise you guys anything on that front just yet. If you guys want it, though, I will bring it to you. But as far as the WWE Draft goes, I have everything you need to know tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, you guys will have a video in your sub boxes going over everything up to the minute. Information regarding the WWE Draft, the rules, who's going to be drafted. I may even do a top 10 for both Raw and SmackDown. It is going to be one massive video. You will not see 16 videos in your sub boxes tomorrow afternoon concerning the WWE Draft, like some YouTube channels on here who will do anything to attain a view, a sub, and a like. I do no such thing. I put out content, and people come regardless because it's factual, it's entertaining, and I do not fail on this channel. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, Monday Night Raw. Listen, the ending of Monday Night Raw tonight was predicted by a lot of the people that I listen to, most notably Justin LaBar. The last tweet that I seen as Monday Night Raw went off the air was Justin LaBar said, the reason why WWE did not hold a title match last week in Detroit when the crowd was scorching fucking hot, the reason why they held it today is because it's going to bleed in to the WWE Draft and SmackDown Live, and there will be a controversial fuck job finish. And that's exactly what we got tonight on Monday Night Raw with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Now, the things that I noticed concerning this ending, okay? Number one, Stephanie gets to pick Seth Rollins as the number one choice for the draft. Seth Rollins would be the overall number one pick in the entire company to start this draft off. Not only that, she proclaimed him to be the new WWE champion. So, not only that, Rollins is the number one pick. Rollins stays on Raw. The WWE Championship stays on Raw. It gives Stephanie pretty much her number one choice right then and there. Tonight, we know who is going number one in the WWE Draft. It should come at no surprise to anybody. Okay? Number two, Roman Reigns, as far as I know, has unfinished business with Seth Rollins. I don't know where he fits into this draft, being that he is suspended, but I do know Roman Reigns, more than likely, 99.99999%, Roman Reigns is going to remain on Monday Night Raw. Now, the one thing that I will go over in tomorrow's video that I thought was going to happen as well is I thought Dean Ambrose was going to remain on Monday Night Raw with his former Shield brothers. Now, I don't know what happened tonight, but obviously that mentality and that logic has gone completely out the fucking window. From what we've seen tonight, and the way Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were trying to comfort Dean Ambrose, and they were trying to side with Dean Ambrose, it looks like Dean Ambrose might be the number one choice for SmackDown. Now, if he's not the number one choice, definitely he will end up on the blue brand. If you probably have to choose two others to go ahead of him, it'll probably be John Cena and AJ Styles. But what from we gather on this show, Dean Ambrose is probably going to SmackDown. And the reason why he's going to SmackDown is because with Stephanie so valiant in her efforts to get the title off of Dean Ambrose and into the hands of Seth Rollins, and Stephanie proclaiming Seth Rollins as the WWE Champion, Dean Ambrose feels like he's going to be defeated before he even gets his rematch with Seth Rollins. He feels like he's going to be defeated going up against the juggernaut called Stephanie McMahon. Why would he want to put himself in that position? Maybe Shane McMahon sees this and he throws Dean Ambrose a bone. Maybe Daniel Bryan sees this and throws Dean Ambrose a bone. Maybe he goes top 3 in the draft and goes to SmackDown. Now, my mentality going into this was, again, like I said, Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose all on the same brand. Because you want those Shield guys together. Because there were rumors going around that WWE might band them together once again towards the end of the year, going into 2017. And we can see something with the club. We don't know how that's going to end up. We don't know where Styles is going to end up. We don't know where Luke Gallows or Carl Anderson are going to end up. But from what we see tonight, it looks like Reigns and Rollins are going to end up on Monday Night Raw. And Dean Ambrose is going to end up on Tuesday Night SmackDown Live. That's what we see right there. And the reason for the fuck job finish is because they needed a way to introduce another championship. The little subtle changes they made for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. First, they got rid of the World Heavyweight Championship moniker. Then they made a small subtle change. I don't know if you guys seen it in the highlight package when they were promoting Rollins and Ambrose tonight with the WWE Championship blown up in the background. It said WWE down the left side of the belt, and then on the other side, Champion. It had said nothing about WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So we know there's going to be another World Championship belt introduced on SmackDown. We just don't know what it looks like, and we don't know how it's going to be introduced on Tuesday, if it is indeed introduced, which I'm assuming it will, because this show is going to go all out. You're going to have some type of resolution for SmackDown. You're going to have some type of resolution to this screwjob finish, even though Dean Ambrose is getting his match in the triple threat with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. There will be talk of another championship tomorrow night on Tuesday Night SmackDown Live. We just don't know how it's going to be. Now, the idea that I proposed months ago, and I hear other podcasts now going over it and giving you the same idea that I gave you months ago, is that SmackDown introducing another World Heavyweight Championship. What they should do as far as introducing another World Heavyweight Championship is not bring back the gold belt, because the big gold belt brings back same old shit. That's what it means to me. If WWE really is ushering in a new era, they really need to create something that's going to have a lasting impression. And the way you do that is you reconstruct the Winged Eagle belt, the one that's fucking behind me on my dresser drawer. You reconstruct that belt and you make it into a modern 2016 World Heavyweight Championship belt. Because that's just the way the new era should do things. That's just my opinion on that. And the way you set up your rosters, whoever is on the roster, depending on who SmackDown drafts, you have 8, 16, however many guys you want. And you have something to keep the interest of the live show going each and every week until we get to SummerSlam, which is the big pay-per-view that everybody's looking forward to blow off the summer. It's going to be the first pay-per-view that's going to be a combined effort for Raw and SmackDown. What you do there, in the finals of this tournament that I have constructed, you have 8 men, 16 men, however many men WWE want in this thing. John Cena and AJ Styles would seemingly be looking up at one another, and then towards the end of this all, as we get to the finals, and SummerSlam, and the main event for SummerSlam, or at least one of the main events for SummerSlam, would pit John Cena versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship for the SmackDown brand. Because I believe, if the reports are correct, Styles and Cena are going one-on-one tomorrow night on SmackDown. That will be match number 2 in this feud, okay? Match number 3, I don't want any of them, I don't want any of these guys to even look at each other, touch each other, think about each other, mention each other's names. The tournament, bringing these two guys together in epic fashion to crown one world champion, That's the way you go about it. And then after that, you know, Dean Ambrose can easily insert himself into the World Championship picture from there on in, and he can get redemption for SmackDown and redemption for himself to be a champion once again due to Stephanie McMahon screwing him over. That's just my logic, and that's my way of thinking. But the reason why the screwjob finish happened tonight the way it did with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose is because they needed a way to make sure you know that Dean Ambrose was screwed, and that Dean Ambrose is going to have the side of Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, and that a new championship is going to be introduced to the WWE, and SmackDown is going to have its own world champion to counterbalance what Stephanie McMahon and Seth Rollins did tonight. Okay? So that's that. I don't mind it. It was expected. It was a little cheesy. It was a little predictable. People are crying bullshit. But honestly, what other way could you construct WWE to get to this same outcome? You knew something like this was going to happen. You know? I would have been okay with a clean finish. I would have been okay with a Dean Ambrose clean finish. I would have been okay with a Seth Rollins clean finish. And I would have been okay with the traditional announcement of a world championship, lifting up the fucking sheet. Underneath the sheet rests the new world championship. And then Shane McMahon announces a huge 16-man tournament to crown the new SmackDown World Heavyweight Champion for the draft of 2016. That's what I would have did. The simple way is best to me. But WWE wants to take the long, convoluted route. They want to leave a cliffhanger going into SmackDown. They want to make sure you watch SmackDown Live. They want to give you every reason to watch SmackDown Live tomorrow night because of what happened tonight on Monday Night Raw with Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Mick Foley, the GM of Monday Night Raw, Daniel Bryan, the GM of Tuesday Night SmackDown, Stephanie, the commissioner, and Shane McMahon, the commissioner. That's it. That's all. So that's the reason for that. I do not mind it. The only thing I did not like about the match, and I did not mind the match itself at all. I think Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins put on a hell of a performance. I liked the match, especially towards the end. It was the fucking crowd in Rhode Island. I don't know what the fuck was going on with them, but they wrestled in the Dunkin' Donuts arena. I think everybody should have went to Dunkin' Donuts during the Sheamus, Rusev, Ziggler, Ryder tag team match to ensure that they stay awake for the rest of the fucking show, because this crowd, for the first 15 minutes of this main event, which is a WWE Championship match, I forgot, they might have forgot that it was even for the world title. I don't even know if Lillian Garcia made that clear, but they were falling asleep. They were fucking dead for the entire fucking match until the high spots and the near falls and the kickouts of each finisher came at the end. So, who can you really blame? Can you blame the fucking crowd? I don't know. Tonight, I don't want to blame the crowd. I want to go back to the same old fucking excuse that I've been using for months now. It's the 3-hour format. That's too much wrestling. Too much wrestling for one human being to endure. On top of that, before the show, they got the main event and Superstars taping. So how many fucking hours of wrestling are these people enduring during this one fucking night on Monday? I have no idea. Can you blame WWE? You could probably blame WWE for the lack of crowd reaction during a fucking WWE Championship match. I mean, for Christ's sake, they promoted it throughout the entire fucking week. They promoted it since last Monday night. They showed you fucking promos, which was great, by Ambrose and Rollins leading into this match. We didn't see them at all besides that during the show. Can you blame WWE? Yeah, you can. Because they failed to capitalize on something that was scorching hot last week in Detroit, when the crowd wanted it then and there when the announcement was made. But then you save it for the very end of a 3-hour show in which people are fucking exhausted. And at that point, they don't even give a shit about what the championship match means, where it's going, where the storyline is going, and they don't care for what's happening in the ring because they are fucking exhausted. And I pose this question again. And I have been saying it for weeks now. How can you expect Monday Night Raw to thrive during a 3-hour format with a split roster? WWE announced the Cruiserweight Championship will be a Monday Night Raw exclusive going forward after the tournament is concluded. The Cruiserweight Championship is coming back, and that will be an exclusive championship to Monday Night Raw only. Monday Night Wars, we might get that familiar feeling back. Opening up the show with a hot Cruiserweight Championship match or Cruiserweight action. Most of the Cruiserweights that are signed through NXT and the Cruiserweight Classic are going to end up on Monday Night Raw. Now, this has its positives, and this has its negatives. A lot of casuals attend these shows. A lot of casuals attend Monday Night Raw. You got families, mothers, daughters, sons, sitting in the audience that don't know anything about these guys. Will they get over based on what they do in that ring solely to the casual fans that attend Monday Night Raw? That's what I'm worried about. Are they going to receive the proper WWE-like reaction? Or WWE, I should rephrase that. Are they going to receive a reaction that they deserve for what they're giving us in the ring? I don't think so. I think it's going to be just as quiet as what we've seen with Rollins and Ambrose tonight. I don't know if that's going to go over well. But adding cruiserweights and several of those guys to Monday Night Raw certainly does make up a lot of that 3-hour difference. A lot of that 3 hours that has a lot of us worried, and if Monday Night Raw is going to come out of this draft looking good at all. So I liked that decision, okay? And with the splitting up of some of the tag teams, which I will go over, I don't want to go over everything in this video. With the splitting of the tag teams, it was already announced that Sin Cara and Kalisto will be separated from one another. I guess the way they're going about it is that they pretty much agreed to part ways, friendly, and Kalisto and Sin Cara are going on their own. They could very well be drafted to Monday Night Raw. They could very well be drafted to the same fucking brand and be in the Cruiserweight division, which would be fucking fantastic. I don't see these guys going anywhere else and being successful. Kalisto would be a great Cruiserweight addition. Sin Cara would be a great Cruiserweight addition. Now, if you don't put Sin Cara in the Cruiserweight division, what is left for Sin Cara to do? How is he going to thrive? How is he going to flourish? He's not. He's going to be a lost soul traveling in the WWE mid-card on either Raw or SmackDown. You need to put this guy where he is strongest. You need to put this guy where he is going to thrive. The qualities of a Sin Cara are going to pretty much be shining. You got to put him in the Cruiserweight division. So those two guys could potentially have a home on Monday Night Raw if WWE makes the logical decision. And I will go over tag teams and teams I think will be split and who I think from NXT is going to be drafted in the draft tomorrow in my video. Do not miss it. I don't want to go over everything, but those are the things that were announced tonight. Cruiserweight Classic. As soon as that finishes, Cruiserweight title is going to be on Monday Night Raw. Sin Cara and Kalisto, they agreed to part friendly, and there's no hard feelings. They will be separated in the draft. They want this, and WWE let them know it. It is what it is, okay? I don't want to go over everything. We'll go over everything tomorrow in my WWE Draft video, everything you need to know. But that's pretty much where we stand with what happened. Those were the big things that happened on Monday Night Raw. Everything else that happened tonight, we kind of knew. We knew going in Daniel Bryan was going to be announced as the general manager of SmackDown. And he got the biggest reaction of the night. The Yes Movement is not dead. The Yes Movement is alive, and from what I see, it's stronger than ever. Because Daniel Bryan came out after months of being absent on WWE television since his retirement, and it's like he never left. Daniel Bryan, the uncrowned face of the company. If there was ever anybody to take over the #1 spot and be the face of this company, it was Daniel Bryan. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says about his look or his size or his beard. Daniel Bryan was the man because he is truly the people's choice. And the people let you know that every single fucking time. Nothing has changed with Daniel Bryan. He can be away, he can be off television, and he comes back and he receives one of the biggest reactions that you heard all year on Monday Night Raw. Good for him. I'm glad to see him on SmackDown. I think that's a great choice. The only other choice that I would have thought would have been better would have been Kurt Angle. But obviously WWE isn't bringing in Kurt Angle at this point in time. I assume and I predict Angle will be back in the WWE in some type of role. I just don't know what he'll be doing. But for now, Daniel Bryan is the perfect choice to run SmackDown. And I loved the interaction between Mick Foley, who was announced as the general manager of Monday Night Raw, being that Stephanie is going to play a villainous, bitch-like heel. She needed someone to offset her persona, and Mick Foley is the perfect candidate for that. There were rumors going around that it could have been Eric Bischoff. There were rumors going around that it could have been Stone Cold Steve Austin, Edge. It could have been Triple H. I said right from the get-go, if it was Triple H, Monday Night Raw would have been floating up Schitt's Creek. It would have been fucking disastrous, and they would have gotten off on the wrong foot, surely going into this draft. So I'm glad that Triple H was not chosen. I like the choice of Mick Foley. He's always been a fan favorite. He's got a great mind for the business. He's great when he's got a microphone in his hand, and when he needs to crank up the intensity and get fucking serious, there's nobody like Mick Foley. Nobody like Mick Foley. So I am very happy with that choice. I love the interaction between Bryan and Foley tonight. They are definitely making it what Vince McMahon stated last week. Vince McMahon wanted competition. He wanted a bloodbath. He wanted each brand going at it head to head. No fucking rules at all. You can break the rules. You can break the fucking rules. That's what Vince McMahon wants. Okay? Just don't get caught. That's what he wants. And that's what they're showing between Bryan and Mick Foley. And I like it. And I can't wait to see that dynamic pretty much expand over the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. And I'm very excited about tomorrow. I'm excited to see what WWE does with the brand split. I'm excited to see where certain guys go, being now that we know that 6 NXT stars are definitely being drafted. That could mean 3 for Raw, 3 for SmackDown. It could mean 4 and 2, 5 and 1. All 6 can go to one brand. I have no fucking idea. I don't know what's going on. It is going to certainly be something to watch. It's very exciting. It gets the creative juices flowing, and I definitely like what is happening right now. I might change my tune a couple of weeks from now because I'm still overly concerned about what this draft is going to do to Monday Night Raw, how many championships are going to have, how many championships the WWE is going to have here. What are they doing with the women? What are they doing with the tag team championships? We haven't gotten anything as far as championships and where they're going to fit on each brand. I don't even think the WWE knows what the fuck they want to do. I feel like, still, that the WWE rushed into all this and they still don't have everything planned out. That they're still back there, creatively, sitting with Vince McMahon, trying to go over everything that they still need to do, and things are not finalized. And this is why I said, way back when, months ago, weeks ago, when fucking Roman Reigns was busted for his drug violation. This is what I said. That match should have happened at SummerSlam. There's no reason why Ambrose and Rollins should have been fighting on Monday Night Raw tonight. It should have happened at Battleground. The triple threat should have happened at SummerSlam. And the draft should have happened after Battleground. That Tuesday after Battleground. But WWE seemingly wants to rush into everything. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is happening 1 week before Battleground. Don't you think it makes Battleground feel less important now that the draft has happened and we got the rosters, we got Raw with its own roster and SmackDown with its own roster? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Everything just feels rushed. So that's the way I see it. That doesn't mean I'm not excited. That doesn't mean I don't think there's some positivity to come out of the WWE Draft. I just think that there's too many moving pieces for WWE to keep mind of and keep control of, and I think things are going to get out of hand. I think things are really going to get out of hand. At first, it's going to look good. At first, it's going to sound good. But what happens when 3, 4, 5 months rolls around and WWE still doesn't know what to do? And we still feel 3, 4, 5 months from now that WWE is scrambling just to make things right. And they're scrambling to just make sure plans are in place. When all of this should have been in place. Rosters should have been designated already. Championships should have been made and designated already. You know, divisions. Which division is going to go to which brand? Are we going to have tag teams exclusively on one brand? Are we going to have the women exclusively on one brand? Are they going to float between both brands so both brands get a taste of tag team and women action? Doesn't WWE know that with them wanting to split teams and them wanting to separate the divisions, that there's not going to be enough flow, there's not going to be enough change, there's not going to be enough to give us fresh feuds each and every month? It's going to be the same shit over and over again, especially with the women. How many of the women have they used on WWE television or showcased something major with the women on television? It's always been the same women. It's been Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Natty, and Dana Brooke. That's it. Meanwhile, WWE has all these other women in the back, and they're not utilizing any of them. What about the tag teams? We haven't seen any tag team wrestling besides 6-man tags, 8-man tags, 12-man tags, 16-man tags. We haven't seen traditional tag team matches in God knows how long. It feels like forever. It's probably been 3 or 4 weeks, but it feels like forever. But WWE to me, doesn't know what they want to do with tag teams. And the way you look at it right now, WWE has a solid 9, 10, 11 teams on that roster that could go. That you could put in a division, and you can build a division around. Some of them suck. Some of them are just fucking lowly jobber teams like fucking Golden Truth and currently right now, Breezango. You got the Ascension who haven't done anything. But where are these teams going? Are these teams going to play a vital role in the draft? Are there going to be another set of titles in which these teams can fight for? And these teams can showcase their skills and get over with the crowd? I don't know. These are things that should have been answered. These are things that should have been fucking set aside and planned for weeks now. And we don't have any idea. I don't know whether WWE has these plans already in place, or they're just waiting to announce them on SmackDown tomorrow night, or they don't have anything in place, and they're just going to piece this week by week, and just take it like they usually do, week by week by week, with no long-term planning. This is what I'm concerned about as a fan, and I'm speaking to you as a fan. I'm not speaking to you in an angry tone. I'm not speaking to you in a complaining, bitching mode. I am genuinely concerned about what is going to happen with the draft, but that does not mean I am not excited to see the outcome of what happens on Tuesday night. And Tuesday night, I told you, in my Cruiserweight Classic review, I've been telling you on my podcast, I've been telling you on Off The Script, SmackDown is going to be the A show. SmackDown is going to be the #1 show, especially if you can draft commentators, which some of you guys said is going to happen. And if I was Shane McMahon, I was going to say Vince McMahon, God forbid. If I was Shane McMahon, one of my NXT picks would be Corey Graves. I would put Corey Graves right next to Ronaldo, get rid of Saxton, get rid of Lawler. Ronaldo, Graves, SmackDown. There you go. Brian GM. That's how you build a fucking show. And at the top, you build it with Cena, Styles, Ambrose, Zayn. Down the list. SmackDown's going to be absolutely fire as a show on Tuesday nights. And here's the kicker. It's 2 hours. It is 2 hours. Where Raw is going to be 3 hours every Monday for the next 2 years, at least. That's why I think the Cruiserweight division is going to do well on Monday Night Raw and fill a lot of that time in which they so desperately need, especially if you're splitting half the roster. So I like that decision. Whoever came up with that, kudos to them. Because if that decision was not made and that announcement was not made tonight, Monday Night Raw would have been floating up Schitt's Creek, like I always say. But those are my thoughts coming out of this Monday Night Raw as we get ready for the draft. More to come tomorrow in my video. I'm going to go over all that plus so much more. We're going to top it off with my top 10 draft picks for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, how I think it's going to happen, how I would plan it. You know, if you guys watch my mock draft with Joe Cronin on Out of Nowhere several weeks back, you probably got an idea of how I'm going to draft my show. So we'll see what happens with that. It's going to be a fun video tomorrow. Going to wake up early, record that, have a nice cup of coffee. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Everything you need to know in one video about the WWE Draft. Okay? Now, moving on with the rest of Monday Night Raw. Really wasn't anything all that exciting. Obviously, like I said, Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley announced as the general managers of Raw and SmackDown, respectively. Jericho and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and Cesaro. Here, Sami Zayn and Cesaro beat both Jericho and Owens. Small package to Chris Jericho at 12 minutes and 2 seconds. The only thing I want, one of the few things I want coming out of the draft is that Owens and Zayn are drafted to the same show. That's what I want. Because I think these guys have it in them. And I see a lot of old style feuds, old classic feuds, bring me back to these guys, man. The Michaels Ramon, or you have Michaels Hart, you know, Brett and Stone Cold. I see a lot of those classic feuds, and I think of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and what these guys, or what these two guys can build off of each other, and with each other. I see fucking magic with these guys for most of their WWE tenure. And that's what needs to happen. I would definitely draft Owens and Zayn to the same brand. That's what I would want to happen. Hopefully it does happen. I would hate to see these guys split up, but I have a feeling one is going to Raw and the other is going to SmackDown. I believe Sami Zayn is going to be on Monday Night Raw, and I think Kevin Owens is the one going over to SmackDown. So we'll see what happens with that, but those are just my quick thoughts on that. Zayn and Cesaro beat Jericho and Owens to open the show. Tag team match, 12 minutes and 2 seconds, small package to Chris Jericho. One thing about Sami Zayn, that top rope where he runs up the second rope onto the top rope and does that kind of arm drag into the DDT, What a beautiful fucking move, man. Sami Zayn is so fucking fluid in the ring. That move, the DDT off the top rope, from the... it's like a swinging DDT. I don't know exactly what he calls it, but that move is gorgeous. He's got the Blue Thunder Bomb. He's got the Helluva Kick. Guy's fucking unbelievable, man. It's Exploder Suplex. Sami Zayn is the complete package in the ring. I hope he gets a chance to shine with the WWE Draft. Alberto Del Rio versus Darren Young. Really not much to this match. Typical interference. Miz was on the announce table with both, well, I should say, with all three goons. It should be a two-man booth. I don't know why WWE has this infatuation with fucking three-man booths. Same thing for SmackDown. Get rid of the fucking two-man booth. Get rid of the three-man booth and give me a two-man booth, please. Darren Young beats Alberto Del Rio with a roll-up, a distraction roll-up, and Miz caused all of this to happen because he tried to pretty much stick his nose in Darren Young's business from behind. Obviously, shit happened. Del Rio got confused. Del Rio got fucking nailed from behind. 1, 2, 3. Darren Young roll-up. 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Now, something I thought I was not going to be entertained by was this entire segment with Cena and Enzo and Cass and the New Day, and then you had the Wyatts and AJ Styles in the club. The one thing here that really got to me is that Xavier Woods came out and mentioned Pokemon Go. Now, if you've been living under a fucking rock, you know what Pokemon Go is, okay? He came out and he was pretty much saying, you know, when Enzo says, how you doing? You know, when someone says something, Enzo says, how you doing? That's his shtick. I don't know how I'm doing. So, Enzo continues to say how I'm doing. How you doing? And Xavier Woods names off Pokemon off the top of his head, saying that he's a level 21 trainer in Pokemon Go, and he starts naming off all these Pokemon. And what got me thinking here is this promo and this wording from all of these guys involved. I don't think WWE Creative actually sat with these guys and penned this themselves. I think this reeked of WWE letting these guys off the leash for a little bit, and I think WWE let these guys have fun with this promo, as long as they kept it within the guidelines. Now, I wish this would happen more often. I wish guys like this would come out and feel a little bit more at ease. New Day typically does that. They're given a little leeway, the New Day, more so than other superstars. But tonight, everybody involved here, especially Cass and Enzo, John Cena, you know, they felt a little bit more at ease with this entire promo segment. And it came off sounding great. It was funny, it was entertaining, and it just made for good television. And the one thing that I've always wanted, and the one thing that Stone Cold Steve Austin mentions several times, every time he thinks about what WWE needs to do, and a lot of the podcasts I listen to, they say the same thing. Let these guys off the ball and chain. Unlock the handcuffs and let these guys have some creative freedom with what they do, whether it's with their character or whether it's with their promos. Give them bullet points and let these guys go out there and have fun. Tell them to keep it within the guidelines. They know to keep it within the guidelines, but let these guys off the leash and let them have fun. This entire segment just really seemed different to me, and I enjoyed it. Xavier Woods is a fucking beast, man. And coming out of this promo and coming out of this segment, there's no way that the WWE breaks up the New Day. I just don't see it. I think it would be absolutely idiotic for WWE to break up any one of these teams in this match. You had the New Day, which I don't think should be broken up. You got the Club, which I don't think should be broken up, and there's rumors about Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows being split away from AJ Styles. I don't like that at all, for reasons I will give you on tomorrow's video. You got the Wyatt family. WWE has made mention of this several times through this show tonight, that the Wyatt family will be drafted individually. They will not be drafted as a unit. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like Luke Harper. Well, I don't think Luke Harper is in discussion right now because he's out with injury. I don't like Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman drafted by themselves. Unless they're with Bray Wyatt, it is not going to work because they're not over, they're not exciting, and they're not going to thrive as a singles act in WWE. No matter how many times WWE tries to push Braun Strowman down our throats, It is not going to happen. And a perfect example is of what we've seen tonight. Okay? I know WWE and Vince McMahon got a fucking massive boner while Big Cass and Braun Strowman had that fucking stare down in the middle of the ring. I could picture Vince McMahon with a bottle of KY jelly sitting next to him and a fucking box of tissues next to him, and he's rubbing one out in gorilla position. Give me a fucking break. It wasn't all that big. It wasn't all that exciting either. And Big Cass made Braun Strowman look like a fucking piece of meat out there. Guy is impressive as fuck, but Braun Strowman is green as the fucking neighbor's grass. Fuck out of here, man. I don't want to see him on my TV until he is comfortable in the role that he's given. And the comfortable role for Braun Strowman is in a tag team fucking environment with Eric Rowan or Luke Harper when he comes back from injury in the Wyatt family. This guy should not be in the ring by himself. No, not at all. No reason to break any one of these teams up. So, this match went about 18 minutes. Fucking how many commercial breaks did they take during this match? Styles Clash in the end to Enzo Amore. Beautiful move. I like that. The club got the victory for their team. Probably at the pay-per-view, it's going to go right back to John Cena, Enzo, and Big Cass. But on this night, the club get a victory. Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara. Neither man got an intro. Match lasted 1 minute and 15 seconds. WWE, like I said, are going to split away Sin Cara and Kalisto. No more Lucha Dragons. Kalisto comes out post-match for the save, but gets beaten down by Baron Corbin. I don't know where Baron Corbin's going to end up, but I think SmackDown would be a very, very good home for the Lone Wolf. Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. This match went 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And this one ended with Natalya interfering. Natalya and Becky Lynch will have a match at Battleground. Nobody really cared about this. I like that WWE is keeping Sasha and Charlotte away for the time being. They'll probably have some kind of interaction at Battleground. I do not think the tag team partner or the mystery partner for Sasha Banks is going to be Bayley. I think it's going to be somebody on the roster right now that hasn't been in the ring for a little bit. Could be Nikki Bella, it could be Summer Rae, it could be Naomi. I don't think Bayley is the right choice for this match because Battleground, in the end, is just a meaningless pay-per-view. And Bayley doesn't deserve that. Bayley deserves a crowd that is going to appreciate her, and she deserves a moment that is going to pretty much represent what Bayley has been for the WWE. And Battleground is certainly not it. Rusev and Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder. I think the fans actually fell asleep during this match. Nobody cared about anything that happened here. Accolade to Dolph Ziggler, 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Zack Ryder versus Rusev will happen at the pay-per-view. Rusev is not going to walk out of Battleground losing that title. There's no way Zack Ryder is winning it. I think Zack Ryder is going to have a very, very good push on a brand that is not Monday Night Raw. He's going to thrive on SmackDown. That's my prediction. And then, obviously, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. We talked about that in the beginning. Anything else that happened, WWE went over Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. They did a highlight package on Randy Orton, showing you and telling you that he will be at Battleground on the highlight reel with Chris Jericho. So that was pretty much it for Monday Night Raw. I mean, it was an okay show. It had its ups, it had its downs. But in the end of it all, this was all something to build towards to get you to watch SmackDown Live Tuesday, especially with the ending of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. That's all I have for you guys. I will have so much more tomorrow, and we will review SmackDown and go over everything that happens live during the draft after the draft is over. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a big day. Don't go anywhere. This is your number one source, and number one source for WWE Draft coverage. Not only WWE News and Rumors, but tomorrow, draft coverage right here on YouTube.com, guys. I'm going to get some sleep. I am fucking exhausted. I look like I smoked all night with Roman Reigns. Not funny, man. My throat is killing me. Thank God I made it through this review. I should be better before Off the Script on Friday. But thank you guys for listening. If you did enjoy, hit that thumbs up. If you missed Off the Script all weekend long, links will be down in the description below. Make sure you guys go check that out. And I will see you all tomorrow for some more great WWE Draft 2016 coverage. Until then, I'm JD. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the draft. I'll talk to you later.